Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this year's briefing for the Dragon Hike and Fly. First of all, a mention of our supporters and sponsors. Thanks to all of these companies. So, Air Design, who've been with us since the almost the start of the race. Um, the South East Wales Paragliding Club for becoming more and more keen on hike and fly over the last few years and really embracing what we've been able to do this weekend event and grow the event over the last few years. Live Track 24 for hosting, along with Matt Tandy for setting all that up for us. Cross Country Magazine for providing prizes. Sky Site for providing prizes and gift for everyone. BGD and Little Cloud manufacturers who provided some prizes and presents for us. And Stodius, again, sponsoring a prize. Uh, Special thanks to Pridey at Cumfroyd for supporting the event now for the second year and having us back after last year. For a fantastic headquarters, a lovely landing field, a great location to have a hike and fly event. So thanks to all of those. Uh, Moving on. Okay, a little bit on the flavour of the race. This is our seventh year running the event, and we have 49 pilots registered at last I checked. We've got 5 nations represented: UK, Poland, South Africa, Lithuania, and Italy. Uh, Attending this weekend, we've got former winners of the event, PwC pilots, YouTube superstars, and UK record holders. We've also got beginners, intermediate pilots, people new to hike and fly events, so a fantastic mix. We have 4 female entrants, so down a little bit on last year, and for the second year on the trot, no tandems. Here's our agenda for the rest of the meeting, or briefing, I should say. It won't take too long. There's our arena. It's now called the Banai Brehiniog. Lots of you are familiar with this area. It extends in the west from Llandilo all the way across to Skirrid and Pandy in the east, Blorenge in the south, and Hale and Wye in the north. We're about 20% of the way in from the east side and largely operating this weekend within the Black Mountains, which is the easternmost flank of the national park. In terms of controlled airspace, we're very lucky here. There is not very much. What is marked is up to 5,500 feet from the surface. There is nothing there that's going to affect our racing this weekend, and there are no towns either to affect us. There are some rules on use of roads, though. So I don't want you to walk on the A479, the A465, either the section they call the Heads of the Valleys between Abergavenny and Bryn Mawr, or on the Abergavenny to Hereford stretch that they call the Hereford Road. Also, the A40, I don't really want you to use that unless you're in an urban part of Abergavenny or Crickhowell and you're using it through the town. I would like you to only cross these roads and find nearest exit onto footpaths or minor roads. This is partly for your safety, but even the sections of, say, the A40 between Crickhowell and Abergavenny that have a footpath running alongside the road, it's largely for the aesthetic and the flavour of the event. In that I don't just want you using main roads to find your way. I'd rather you using smaller roads and ideally footpaths through mountainous terrain. If you do find yourself stuck with, say, a few hundred meters following a landing where you have to walk along one of these roads, please call me, text me, and let me know, and just to help you move off or away from that area as quickly as you can. This shouldn't be so much of an issue this year, but there are some horse people around, and we have this agreement with them that if anyone lands between the sort of the minor roads bounded by the red triangle and the hill line, so the bottom of Mynach Llangwrs there, that triangle of about 3 square kilometers, you will receive a 2 hour time penalty to be taken as soon as you've moved clear of the area. Like I said, shouldn't be an issue this year, but I just wanted to mention it. in case you do find yourself in that area. Let's have a look at the weather forecast. This must be the first year, certainly, I think the first year that we've not had very strong wind with the event. So it's nice to see much better forecast than we've had in previous years for both days. So starting with Brecon Beacon's mountain area forecast, we do have some early low cloud, mist and fog, clearing quickly through the morning, leaving plenty of prolonged sunshine into the afternoon, remaining dry throughout the day, becoming cloudier from the west into the late evening. Chance of cloud-free hilltops, 20% to start with, increasing to over 90% by late morning. Northeast wind to start with gusts of up to 25 miles an hour. This is going to decrease to 5 to 10, gusting 15 throughout the afternoon. Temperature 600 meters plus 4, rising to 12, and in the valley 8 up to 18. Freezing level well above the tops, and low cloud and visibility. Low cloud and hill fog with bases down to around 3 to 500 meters early morning, will rise above the summits by late morning. Some scattered cloud through the afternoon, though this should remain above the summits. Poor or very poor visibility in early mist, and fog becoming very good during the day. And for Sunday, at this range, we only have a very basic forecast for Sunday, but Brecon Beacon's Met Office forecast will come out at about 7 or 7:15 this evening, so you can search it again, or I'll post it up in the chat group. But for Sunday at the moment, all we have is largely dry but cloudy to start, rain approaching from the west during the day. The timing is uncertain. Light west to northwest winds with freezing level above the summit. So this evening you'll get a forecast like we had for Saturday, and Saturday's forecast should be more accurate as well. Moving on to surface pressure, we've got an isolated high in the North Sea, 1029, with a ridge extending into the Azores. We've got low pressure out over the Atlantic that's trying to get us, but it looks like the ridge is winning at lunchtime tomorrow. And much better weather here than they've got in the Alps, which is nice. By midnight tomorrow night, ridge firmly in place over the UK, certainly over South Wales, but that cold front is trying its best to get us. And by lunchtime tomorrow, it's nearly with us. So hence these expected showery rainfall tomorrow on Sunday at some point. This is from our sponsor SkySight, and we've got initially here a windgram for the whole day on Saturday. So we have quite strong wind there as forecast by Met Office, but that disappears around 12 to 1 o'clock, expecting probably soarable wind strength through the afternoon, dropping perhaps to unsoarable wind strength at 6 p.m., something like that. Direction predominantly northeast during the day. If anything, it looks like it's backing from east-northeast to north-northeast during the window tomorrow. Although some other forecasts suggested it was going to go the other way. This is the same windgram but with lapse rate overlaid. So you can see we're at -4 in the boundary layer during most of the day. The best of it probably after 3 o'clock, where the boundary layer thickens a little bit stable above until about 2 o'clock. We might be ceiling limited to perhaps 2,000 to 3,000 feet until 3 o'clock when it starts to improve. This is similar metrics for Sunday, so very light westerlies in the morning, becoming sort of soarable wind strength west-northwest between 1,300 and 1,600. And again, lapse rates a bit more stable on the surface throughout the day, and there's sort of a stable window around lunchtime, but there's some instability in the morning, and again, that sort of that last hour or so of the race on Sunday. Going back to Saturday now for Skysight, this is thermal ceiling at 3 p.m. Oh, sorry, it's not thermal ceiling, this is cumulus cloud base at 3 p.m. on Saturday, potentially just over 4,000 feet in the Black Mountains. And again for Sunday, not such a good thermaling day, lower base, 3,600 at 1,300. Cora in the east with some showers starting to develop there. Strange that considering it says the weather's going to come in from the west, but we'll see what happens. SQT for Talgarth for 1,500 on Saturday. They're pretty unstable, but potentially lowish cloud base somewhere between 2 and 3,000 feet. But maybe some towering clouds up to about 10,000. And then 1,700 does become more stable as that ridge takes hold. Ceiling of the clouds, also the cloud tops drops maybe to 8,000 feet. Base is slightly improved and the latch rates straighten itself out to probably ceiling 3 to 4. Star rating for 1,500 on Saturday. We just need to blow that best air slightly further east. So we're kind of on the cusp there with the 2 to 3 star air, and we really could do that. Oranges and reds coming slightly further across for us. 1,300 on Sunday. Got some nice flying conditions in the flats to the east of us, and some good air there forecast slightly further west of us. Just in that little chunk of instability before the rain comes. So again, let's hope that we get that a little bit further west for us on Sunday. I'll update any Met data this evening. Certainly, I know some of you will be camping with limited mobile signal. And again, tomorrow morning, if anyone has any questions, you can talk to me at registration, because I'll have had a quick look at the Met in the morning as well. Rule clarification, we'll just go over mandatory equipment on the next slide. The role of the supporter. So if you have a supporter, that's fantastic, but you don't have to have one. If you do have one, they're not allowed to carry your equipment, of course, but they can carry extra supplies and they can be your point of contact to me rather than you having to do it all yourself. Again, if you've got any questions about roles of the supporter, it is all detailed in the event rules, or please let me know by message this afternoon. Methods of travel. This should be fairly self-explanatory, but you're allowed to carry your paraglider and equipment, or your paraglider and equipment is allowed to carry you in the air. And those are the only two means of transport. You're not allowed to swim or take any other type of transport. Moving during rest period. You are allowed to do this. You must start again the next day from within 100 meters of where you stopped the night before. But if you're high up on terrain, you wanted to drop down to camp or to have a shower and get a good meal and then go back up in the morning onto the high terrain, that's absolutely fine. But of course, you're not going to get as much rest and you've got to find your way back to where you started from. Some clarification on, all these long list of things. So controlled airspace. If anyone flies in controlled airspace or track log shows they have, they'll be disqualified. Cloud flying, we'll go with the PwC 23 rules for this, which is now guilty until proven innocent, I'm afraid. So if anyone complains about other pilots cloud flying, they will be disqualified unless the pilot who's been accused can provide evidence that they haven't been cloud flying. So that would include track log below, obviously below the cloud base that we know for the day, or video evidence that the pilot or other pilots have shown of them flying. You are allowed to fly above cloud base, of course, as long as you're clear of cloud. You're not allowed to fly in rain. I don't think this will be an issue tomorrow, but on Sunday afternoon, where you're not allowed to take off in rain. If you are to encounter rain during your flight, you are to land safely as soon as possible, once realizing that you've accidentally flown into rain. Please try and respect the country code and minimize any impact on farms and our environment as you travel through the local area. And any protests on any other pilot's behaviour are to be directed to me, please. And hopefully there won't be any, but if there are, we'll deal with them. Uh, just one that came up last week. No pilot is to fly with ankle weights on their legs. I see this as a dangerous thing to do, so please don't do that. And you should be able to ground handle safely with the equipment that you're using. So, for example, if you were a 45 kilogram pilot and you were flying with 40 kilograms in your harness, and you couldn't practically stand and ground handle your wing in light or strong wind, that would be uh, considered unacceptable. So please respect that and fly sensible equipment. As I think Dan said the other day in the group, any equipment is suitable for hike and fly, but of course that's within reason. Please don't go ballasting up with extreme weight um, for no reason. Team flying, yeah, this is not allowed. You're allowed to gaggle up with other competitors and uh, and fly together for the entire day, hopefully. And you camp together and discuss tactics. But what you're not allowed to do is have a supporter lead out for you on the course line, identifying lines of lift, thermals, and helping you fly the route. And flying or hiking is absolutely your decision based on the conditions and your ability. Timings we'll go over shortly, and there will be a safety frequency 143.900. Here's our mandatory equipment list. Slight changes from last year. So must fly load tested glider EN96 1, and that's rather than an EN A, B, C, or D certified glider, as the rule was last year. Other rule changes, certified back protector that must be carried. I think that's it. Let me know if there's anything else that you think has changed there, but I'm pretty sure the load test is the only new rule. So that just allows other wings to be flown other than EN certified ones. Tracking, we're going to use Live Track 24 as you've been told in the group and various emails many times. This is absolutely the way that the event will be scored, and we'll need continuous track log to score you traveling along the route and through the various waypoints. As a safety backup, in case your machine isn't firing out live tracking, I'd like you to update on Telegram in the tracking group every couple of hours with a pin drop, then hashtag map with your what you're doing or what you're intending to do in the next sort of half an hour to an hour, and that helps us keep an eye on XCRT with the pins all moving around. Please report in safe on Saturday evening by 21:30 at the absolute latest. Do anticipate being a bit late or dropping out of signal for some reason. Please text earlier than that with your intentions. My number for all these texts or telegrams or for signing me up as a Garmin contact on your InReach is there. So please feel free to take that down and have it saved. Social media, this is really important for the event because it helps it grow year on year and certainly helps us get more sponsorship and improve the support that the sponsors can give in terms of prizes and other things that we're able to provide for the race. I've sent all of these hashtags and apps to the chat group. If you please kindly save all those and any social media posts that you make, add those in a big chunk. That's all you need to do, and it helps all those manufacturers and sponsors see that you're talking about them in relation to the event and get them lots of coverage during the weekend. So thank you for that. And there'll be a prize for the best social media post or content of the weekend. Prize giving, this will be at Cumfroid uh, at the campsite, which is the headquarters, and we're expecting 4:30 p.m. for the curry and the prize giving. We'll aim to do the prize giving straight away because I appreciate some of you might not want to stay for food and might need to travel. There'll be prizes for the top three, top female, best newcomer, Blorenge Beast, Rebecca's plastic-free Cricale prize, and a social media prize. Right, the task. We'll have a Lifetech 24 route uploaded on an event page for tracking your friends to follow by this evening. Matt will be on that after he finishes at work today. So, here we go. Timing, start on day 1, 0900 at Dumfries campsite. Last landing at 20:30. You'll have a night stop, so you can hike for 30 minutes, but you must stop moving at 2100 and report safe by 21:30. Start of day 2, you start moving at 0700, first takeoff at 0730, and end of speed will close at 1600. I've made a typo there at the bottom, so I'll clarify this in the group, but currying prize is expected at 16:30 and food at 16:30. I'll let you know in the group because that is an error there on my part. The route, all right, starting at Dumfries campsite, this will be a 200-meter exit cylinder triggered on exit. You're then going to Hay Bluff with a 100-meter cylinder on the summit. 10.3 is Blorenge Hut. You can see our new signboards that Dan, Tosh, and others have been working on over the last few months. And this is a 50-meter cylinder around the hut. This is an on-the-ground turn point. So you must either walk to the turn point or land in the turn point, outside of the turn point, and then walk in. Any of those are fine, but you just must have one tracking point on the ground within the cylinder. And you must take a selfie at the hut and post it onto the Dragon chat on Telegram. And this turn point is a sponsored turn point. So it's the BGD Blorenge Beast turn point. It's our mandatory on the ground turn point. All pilots must either hike to the cylinder or land somewhere either inside or outside of the cylinder. Take a selfie to be uploaded to social media. Pilot's glider must be on the ground while the selfie is taken, and the first pilot to make it to turn point 2 will be crowned the 2023 BGD Blorenge Beast. Waypoint 4 is the Granivar Reservoir. 400-meter cylinder on that one. Waypoint 5, Troyd with a 100-meter cylinder. And finally, end of speed section and goal are same as your waypoint 1, 1000 meters and 100 meters respectively. Here's a QR code. You should be able to pause the video now and scan it. Certainly if you've got 2 phones, you can definitely do that. I'll share the QR code and task files in the group on completion. Final points, please bring plenty of water. We'll do our best to get water out onto the route as well for you at various points where we think you're going to bunch up. Sun cream, please bring a plate, a knife, fork, spoon for the curry and prize giving so that we don't have to chuck a load of plastic in a bin. If you're staying tonight at the campsite, or if you intend to stay on Sunday night, or if you finish tomorrow and you stay on Saturday night, you are being asked to pay £20 for camping for 3 nights, or up to 3 nights stay. So please bring that tomorrow morning and I'll take it from you at registration. Expect registration to open at 7:30 at Dumfries. Come and find me, sign to fly and collect your gift. If you have any questions, please let me know in the Telegram chat group or by private message if you don't want to ask them in public. I'll see you all either this evening or tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye bye.